Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
And a jolly good morning to you. This is Newsline, live as always from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo, and of course broadcasting on TV1, a proud member of the Capital Maharaj Group. And this morning, as we start this week, we have a number of issues. But one issue, and this man has always been in the news, or it seems that way. And this time round, he's being accused by the cabinet of causing a loss of 60 million rupees. And he's been asked to submit himself before the cabinet for questioning. And he's right here on Newsline to share a little bit about that story and a bit more. None other than the former chairman of Lanka Coal Company, the current chairman of Lanka Mineral Sands, Attorney at Law, Mr. Maitri Guratna. Good morning to you.
Good morning for us.
Nice to see you.
Thank you, thank you.
Now, what's all this business? You've been summoned to cabinet.
Yes.
Why?
The Honourable Minister of Trade and Commerce had brought it to the notice of the cabinet that I had caused a loss of 60 million rupees in selling of the mineral sands at the mineral sands company.
Right.
Now, to my knowledge, there was no loss at all.
Right.
No loss at all.
Right.
But as you know, the mineral sands are sold by open international tender procedure.
Right.
So, when I took over for us, for 8 months, for reasons best known to the mineral sands company, there were no tenders held at all.
To sell off
the minerals.
Yeah.
So when I went in there, I saw the stock there, and I immediately spoke to the Honourable Minister, and I said, we cannot continue like this because you need to sell this because the stock was getting contaminated, and we had to sell it. So anyway, with great difficulty, I got the approval to sell it. So the first tender was for $161 US.
Right.
That was clearly 100% more than the the price we got for the last tender held about 9 or 10 months ago.
Right. This is per ton, is it?
Per ton.
Yeah.
Per ton. And then the tender was conducted by the secretary to the ministry, the tender board, chairman of the tender board. And the TEC had gone into it, and they have said this tender is suitable for awarding. It was suitable for awarding. So what I did was I awarded the tender. I awarded the tender. That was for 11,000 tons.
Right.
Then subsequently, 3 weeks later, there was another tender for 9,000 tons.
Right.
Now that we fetched a price of $202 US.
Right.
So the difference is about $42.
Right.
So I am told that some officials in the ministry had told the minister that if the first tender was cancelled, we could have sold it during the second tender and got $40 more on the ilmenite.
Right.
So when you calculate the $40 with the sale quantity, it comes to about 60 million.
Right.
So that is what they are referring to as this loss.
Right.
Now for us, I think when you are trading internationally, oil prices fluctuate on a daily basis.
Yes.
Coal prices fluctuate on a daily basis.
By the hour.
By the hour. So, the two tenders were held 3 weeks apart.
Right.
And now they are coming with a very, very lame excuse saying that a loss has been caused.
This minister is Mr. Badruddin.
Mr. Shahid Badruddin.
Right.
And I feel that the minister has been misled.
Right.
Totally misled by a few officials.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is this for us.
Yeah.
To date, I have made 1.2 billion rupees. 1.2 billion rupees.
Right.
To the credit of the company.
Right.
Which is a 100% government-owned business undertaking.
Right.
So this money is there in the bank.
Right.
It's there in the bank, and it belongs to the people of this country.
Right.
So we have increased production.
It's about $8 million.
Yes.
Right.
And
where's the money?
It's in the bank. in Sri Lanka in a local
account to the call of
Lanka Mineral Sands.
Right. Will you be sending it to the Treasury?
No, I don't need to.
Okay.
I don't need to, but we have to pay the dividends to the Treasury. We will definitely pay the dividends to the Treasury, and if we can pay something more, we'll definitely do that.
What's your plan to? So you might distribute this in the form of dividends.
No, I have to give to the Treasury. We don't. We are 100% owned by the Treasury.
I see. Right. So
because for us, what I want to tell you is when I was appointed, the Treasury Secretary sends me a letter.
Yeah.
Saying get ready to liquidate the company because it was in such a bad way.
Oh, okay.
The letter I got was, you have been appointed and, get ready to liquidate this according to the Companies Act.
Right.
Right. So a company which was to be liquidated, I have been able to turn it around, and now I think we don't need any help from anyone.
It's on your feet.
It's on its feet. We can do all the improvements. I have in fact ordered all the machinery necessary to improve it at the first stage. We have started new mining areas in Kuchavelli,
right?
And we are also starting in Kokilai.
Right.
We'll get the permits one of these days for Kokilai permit. So I feel it is doing extremely well at the moment, and we have increased the production.
Who appointed you?
I was appointed by His Excellency the President.
Which is one of these good decisions he's made.
I hope so.
Well, you've made $8 million. It's sitting in the account, which is a fast side. But do you think they'll need that $8 million to pay for that business of the compensation for Sri Lankan Airlines?
I don't know.
So this is an interesting story. When are you going to the cabinet?
Tomorrow.
Well, there you go. Listeners and viewers of Newsline already know the answer. So you heard it before they did, only on Newsline. There you are. So that's excellent news. Well done.
Thank you.
And hopefully the President will now send you off on to some other department which is suffering.
No, I of course, for us, I feel that, the notion that the government cannot run a business successfully is all nonsense.
Absolutely. It's the commitment.
It's a commitment.
Yeah.
It's a commitment.
Yeah.
And for us, the plant is in Pulmude.
Yeah.
Right? We have had, there are Muslims, there are Sinhalese, there are Tamils who are working there. So we have had an extremely good relationship. We had, in fact, the Poson celebrations.
And how are the workers treated?
Very well, very well. We have, I don't think
how many people do you employ?
We have about 600 people employed there.
And good salaries?
Salaries are not bad. We need to increase the salaries for us because after all, this is a profit-making organization.
And the production is good?
Production is good. We are increasing the production. Our machinery is obsolete. Our machinery is about 40 years old.
Right.
No one has paid any attention to get new machinery, and that's why our production has dropped.
So what's the scenario? Can you invest more money on new machinery?
I have already ordered the machinery.
Oh, you have?
I have already ordered the machinery.
Right.
It's in the process of being, because these are all made to measure.
Has Mr. Rishad Badruddin complained about any of that?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Do you expect him to?
Well, the company has its own power to order up to 100 million. Anything which is up to 100 million we can order. I can take the decision.
Right.
It is only if it exceeds that we have to go to the Treasury, and if it exceeds 500 million we have to go to the Cabinet.
Right.
So as far as
it's all enshrined in the articles.
Yes, and it's all on various procedures.
Right. So basically you ordered, ministers not said a word so far.
Yeah, because we have the running of the day-to-day business of a company. I don't think the ministry can get involved in the running of a day-to-day company. And a company is a individual which can act on its own.
Yeah.
So there is a huge amount of freedom a company has when it has to transact business.
Yeah.
So even though this is a 100% state-owned company, we have all the right to do whatever we want with regard to making the company a profitable organization.
And then where is the accountability? Who are you accountable to?
We are accountable to the Auditor General. The Auditor General can come in any time,
right,
inform us and do our audit. There is no problem.
Right. And has he been there? Have they sent some officials around yet?
Time and time again they come in.
Right.
They come in. I mean, sometimes I just informed the Auditor General. They don't even inform me.
Right.
I mean, as the head of the institution,
Yeah.
I should be informed. You know, they seem to be just walking in and trying to get call files. So I complained to the Auditor General that this practice is not there's some.
It's a bit sharp.
And it has to be. There has to be some kind of etiquette. You know, where if I come into your place or your house, I must inform someone.
Yeah.
You just don't walk in and start calling for files.
But then the element of surprise is lost.
No, it's not the element of surprise for us. I mean, you're not robbing, you're not doing anything.
You are not, but there may be others.
No, correct, but it's not a thing which is happening, like looting from a shop or
Right, yeah.
after a riot.
Yeah.
The auditor does a check on what has happened during the last 6 months or 1 year.
It's not a fast food outlet.
It's not a fast food outlet. It's a soap process. So
Yeah.
there is some kind of decency. I mean, they must say that we are coming. I mean, what is the
Auditor General is normally top man.
No,
So
I have the highest respect for the Auditor General, Mr. Gamani Vijay Singh.
Yeah.
He has been an exemplary government servant. You
Yeah.
know, he has told everyone where to get off the bus.
Yeah.
But I suppose some of the officials below him
A bit
are
high-handed.
a bit high-handed. In fact, I told Mr. Vijay Singh, I mean, if we have 10 people like that in the government, this country would be a different place.
we wouldn't be an IMF economy.
No, definitely not.
Right.
Definitely not.
Now then, that's sort of good news that you're doing all this. But you came from the Lanka coal company before,
Yeah.
which was fraught with all sorts of corruption.
Yeah.
And you couldn't have missed the fact that yesterday the officials of the Anti-Corruption Committee Secretariat, which is almost next door to the Prime Minister's Temple Trees residence and so on, were tight. Well, the Prime Minister's office is tight-lipped, and these chaps went and handed the key. They locked the place up and handed the keys to the nearest police station, which I believe is Kolkata Police Station.
Yeah.
What do you make of this business?
For us,
of disbanding this secretariat?
My personal opinion with regard to this,
Yeah.
we have the CID,
Yeah,
we have the fraud bureau,
Yeah.
and we have the local police.
yeah,
Now, when we had this mechanism to go in for fraud,
yeah,
starting special purpose vehicles for investigation of this kind of thing,
stinks, does
it
it?
stinks. Basically, it stinks.
Right.
Right? Now, see what has happened.
Yeah,
Now, they closed it down. Now, the files will disappear.
yeah.
Right? So, all the evidence also will disappear.
And it was a complete waste of money.
Absolute waste of money. For 2 years, I don't think they bought anyone of any
Now,
substance.
Mr. Gunnar, as a lawyer,
Yeah.
right, if I came to you as your client,
Yeah.
and I said that I want to take action against the person who formed this anti-corruption committee secretariat and who should be responsible for this utter waste of money and so on,
Yeah.
would I have a case against the Prime Minister? Because it's listed under him, isn't it?
For us, I will not be able to answer that question offhand right now.
Right.
I will need to check the law first
Right.
before I answer that question, because it's
Please do.
Yeah,
Please do.
yeah, I
And
will.
then perhaps when you come back on another program,
Yes,
we can
I will.
give us your
I'm sorry that I
considered-
can't answer it, but it's a
No,
bit of a
but-
complex.
Yes, that's true, and we mustn't put the chap into too much trouble, shall we? So because he's always in trouble. But then, if the heat is too much, you need to get out of the kitchen.
That's right.
Now then, what do you think of this? The reports of government attempting to declare health services an essential service. What would your take be? Is it an essential service? Health?
Oh yes, it is. It is. And the doctors
Yeah.
are completely taking this to their own hands.
Yeah.
And they are causing a hell of a lot of problems
Yeah.
with regard to the people, because basically the patients are held to ransom.
And the reports of all these patients traveling so far, coming in, and it's a challenge coming in anyway, to get there, and only to find that they're not being treated. And then some of these doctors were offering to treat them privately.
Oh, yeah.
That's hypocrisy at its best.
For us, the conduct of these doctors, right, is actually appalling.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, as persons who have studied, learned at the cost of the taxpayer, right? I feel they should be much more responsible than this, right? Because now what they are against is they are against private education. The long and short of it is that for us. Now, so if they are against private education, I mean, how can a country like this develop? Now, we are thinking of bringing in tourism. Now, tourism is not only for beaches, right? There is medical tourism which can come in. There is educational tourism which can come in. There is religious tourism which can come in. Then there are the tourists which can come in for beaches and all that. So there are so many
different
options. Now, when these educated people act in this manner, where they are holding the whole country to ransom, right? I don't think it's a thing which fits their dignity and their status.
Indeed. So, good idea to make health an essential service.
Oh yes, definitely.
Now then, the doctors, they get duty-free permits, concession permits, on the one hand. And on the other hand, they're holding the country to ransom. They're issuing what my colleague Sonali Wadingabadge found out when she was interviewing Dr. Pardenia. It was almost a sort of a veiled threat that about the media's involvement in all this. But is it fair that these people get these concessionary permits and then they do a disservice to the people of the country?
No. For us, all these perks and privileges are given on the assumption that you're going to do your service true to the public.
Right.
So if they are taking the law to their own hands, and if there is no justification in them taking into this action, I think the government should forthwith stop issuing any kind of perks and privileges, especially things like the permits. The government can go one step further. They can say, okay, if whoever comes to work and who sees that there is no disruption of services, will get it.
Right.
So then they can see.
So sort of a zero tolerance.
Zero tolerance. The point is this unnecessary tolerance, unnecessary good governance is also bad. Because for us, good governance is not for people to get onto the streets and start protesting.
That's right.
Good governance is you must give the citizens of this country a good day. That is good governance. Not to give the freedom of the wild ass for people to everyone at a drop of a hat to get onto the streets and start protesting and keep whole public to ransom. That is not good governance. So what I'm saying is, good governance is the people of this country must feel that they are safe.
So where does one draw the line between sort of good governance and democracy?
No, good governance and democracy are both
should be the same.
It's the same thing.
Yes,
it's the same thing.
I think what our questions coming in through the phone is that what they meant to say is, where do you draw the line between good governance and dictatorship?
No. Now for us, now you take this instance. Now, is there any justification? Because I feel the GMOA, this Dr. Padenia, he had his election which he contested about 2-3 weeks ago. So he needed to whip up support. So the modus operandi was to beat the war drums with regard to this item issue, and somehow he won the election. So these are the reasons they are holding the country to ransom to win their own ends and means.
Indeed. And I think Dr. Pardini may have won unchallenged, uncontested. However, health must be an essential service.
Definitely. Health, transport, all that has to be essential services.
And when I think that these people who breach this essential service and it's so clearly an essential service, I think their personal assets should also be confiscated. You know, the thing is like this: if you run a business and you're a sole proprietor, and you know there's a liability, you get sued. So in the same way, these chaps, the doctors, they're playing with people's lives and so on. And if they can't understand that, and as you say, they're educated people, and you know they have to be, the way the system is, they have to be seriously well educated to get in and do it. So these are the top end, and if they're acting in such a deplorable fashion holding the people to ransom, then they ought to be they ought to have their personal assets confiscated. They'll soon come round then.
For us, I mean, I can add to something what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now, there is an act called the Public Property Act.
Yeah.
Public Property Act.
Right.
That is, any property which belongs to the state is public property. Right? And if someone damages public property or causes any kind of ruination of public property, you can be arrested and produced before a magistrate, and you have no bail other than from the High Court, under exceptional circumstances.
So that's what they ought to have done to all these students.
No, because now what is happening is, I mean, if you are protecting the public property, if you have an act, then what about the public?
Exactly.
You know, the act, you got a strong act to protect public property. Right? That is, you know,
but it's also, isn't there a case for inciting or a potential breach of the peace? Because these people are inciting these, and they've found in the students a fertile young mind and easily sort of influenced, and clearly these students have been used and then the GMOA appears to be, to me anyway, it appears to be that they are acting with a political motivation.
Yes, definitely. There is no doubt about it. There is no doubt about it.
You know, it's astonishing that this is being allowed to carry on. And on the one hand, they think that, you know, they're compensated already for working in the government service.
Definitely.
They've taken the best out of our country, their country, and now they're acting in the most selfish manner.
No, and the other thing is, for us now, what is going to happen is, now I got several messages giving all these doctors' names and addresses and their email numbers. Obviously, people are saying, you know, call them and just blast these guys. So they have attracted a huge amount of hatred. They have attracted a huge amount of hatred. Now what is going to happen is, slowly, people are not even going to practice or going to take medicine from these doctors. They are not going to consult them, basically. So ultimately, what would they do? They will find greener pastures and go to another country, having done all the damage here. Having done all the damage here.
There's a message here that says, we are saying that the government spends around 400,000 rupees annually to train up these doctors.
I think the amount must be less. It must be more.
Sorry, university students.
Per university student. Oh, definitely.
And so, and then they don't seem to appreciate
that. They don't, because it's free. It's free. My personal opinion is there has to be some charge, and if a person cannot pay, if he's coming from extremely poor background, then there can be an exception.
But why can't we have this system in England? You get a student loan, and then once you start working and you reach a certain amount per annum, some minimum amount, thereafter you pay over a period of so many
20 years even.
So
that's I think they should bring it, because if they don't appreciate it for us, right?
This is the whole point. When you get something for
free and you don't appreciate it. I know it personally. I know it personally. After the tsunami, we started a school which teaches English, and it was free. 6 months people came. After that they just dropped out because they didn't have any appreciation, because it was free. So ultimately we had to close the school down. Right? So in the same way, those students who came free to our classes, they used to pay and go for other classes. So this free business is not appreciated.
Right.
What I'm saying is, I mean, not exorbitant fees, but at least a token.
Right.
At least a token, and if there is a person who can't afford it,
Yeah.
right? I mean, there are ways and means. The Grama Sekha will say what your income levels are, whether you are a person who have any means or not.
Yeah.
So once they produce that letter,
Yeah.
the hospital authorities can, or whoever it is,
Yeah.
can waive off that fee and give it free.
I mean, these students are acting really poorly. We had them attack the ministry premises.
Yeah.
Then there was this business which we showed on the news last night. When there was a spirit ceremony going on. They seem to have no respect for anything.
Nothing.
And
No, they're acting like animals. Sorry, animals are. That's the wrong example.
Well, that's
I mean,
right. We rescued a dog who had been involved in an accident, and we, had his leg attended to. It was amputated. When the dog sees us now, it comes there. When we come back from Gammetta, we stayed over because it was late, and we gave the dog some food. In the morning, our producer was walking nearby, and his dog came back and sat, wagging his tail. So he was grateful.
Definitely.
So these students, I think, whatever punishment has been meted out to them isn't enough. They need to be. They need to be dealt with severely. And also, what do you think about the people who are inciting them to do this?
I mean, that is aiding and abetting.
That's aiding and abetting.
It's aiding and abetting. I mean, it's the same punishment.
Indeed.
It's the same punishment.
Yeah. The other thing is, why can't we get these people to understand that private education, if you can get trained up in private education and other matters, then why can't you get trained up, to do medical?
Definitely. No, for us, for various other courses, there are private universities which have been set up here. Can you just imagine if all the people got onto the road and was against any kind of private education? What would have been the outflow of foreign currency of this country? Now you go to, there is Royal Institute, there is APIT, there are various organizations which have come up, which are giving degrees in collaboration with foreign university. Monash is various other people.
Yeah.
Now, how many students are in Sri Lanka under the protection of their families?
Yeah.
They are studying here and they are going maybe for the final year abroad. Right? But today, if we go according to what the GMO is saying, there is no...
But some of these politicians, their children, they're opposed to this business, but their children are...
The hypocrisy,
Yes.
Absolute hypocrisy. No, what you all should do is for us, as a broadcasting TV channel, expose these guys.
Right.
One by one, expose them.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, that's the biggest service you can do. Just completely expose them. Because they are actually a nuisance, a curse to this country. Because they are having two standards, one for the public and one for themselves. Right. So they have to be thoroughly exposed for us. Otherwise, I mean, this can't
name and shame.
Name and shame them. You should start a program like that.
To name and shame.
Name and shame. Then people will come and say, okay, against so and so, this is the evidence we have.
Right.
His son is going to this university. How can he afford to talk? Right? Then people will come to a decision and say, I mean, we cannot have this kind of, hypocrites.
Very sad, isn't it?
Definitely.
But a good decision, as we just end up the program, a good decision on the part of the President, who's now announced that he's not going to be talking to any of these striking people.
Definitely, that's
the line
good.
minister will talk.
And they should take the whip and crack the whip.
They have
because
to crack it.
They have to crack it. Because good governance is good governance.
Yeah.
Good governance is good governance for the people of this country.
Yeah.
Not for the people who are going to strike and we are looking at them, letting them block the traffic. That is not good governance.
Yeah.
That is not good. I mean, thousands of people are waiting because some jokers are protesting. On what? On the private medical college course, something coming up. What I'm saying is, if there are standards which have to be put the standards, right? They can put all the checks and balances, and then have the institution going.
Yes, because these people can't hold the country to ransom.
No way.
Mighty Gunran, it's been an absolute pleasure having
Thank
you
you,
on.
Faraz.
And
Thank you
I
for
hope
inviting
that,
me.
It's a pleasure, and I hope that you go and put the cabinet to right and put Mr. Rushad Badruddin in his place.
I don't intend putting anyone in their place, but I will.
At least he must realize the error of his ways.
That I suppose he will.
He will, once
He will.
once you speak.
Once I speak, I will. If I have convinced you, then I will be able to convince him for sure.
Well, thank you very much, Mighty Gunran, for being on Newsline.
Thank you.
And that's it from Newsline. That's the way it is on Monday, the 3rd of July, 2017. Take care. God bless.
Thank you.